Hello bumblebees. Today I have a book review, but before I start with the book review, I want to give you guys a disclaimer. I'm so sorry if you can hear any noise in the outside. My neighbors are cutting their lawn again for the billionth time, and cars are passing by. I can't really do anything about it, but I hope you guys understand. I will be talking as loud as I can so you guys can hear me, and I'm not sick anymore, so I feel much better. So yeah, let's get started with the book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Rebel City of Indra by Kendall and Kylie Jenner. I have so many post-it notes. I finished this book yesterday night. I had to push myself through the last pages. Actually, I had to push myself through this whole book. It seriously took me about 2 to 3 weeks just to finish this book. I had to really push myself, and I kept putting it down, and there was times where I was like, I cannot finish this book, but I had to push myself, and I did, and I finished it. I'm so proud of myself. Overall, this book is a 2.5 out of 5 stars, but in Goodreads I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars because you can't give it point something stars. But yeah, that's my overall of this book. So this book, if you guys don't know, it's about these two girls, Livia and Lex, have always felt different, and they're trying to figure out who they are and how to affiliate themselves with the city. So Lex and Livia are both orphans, but Lex is an orphanage in the lower city of Indra, while Livia, she lives up in the sky. They have these little like islands that float in the sky, and she lives in one of those islands, but she is also an orphan. And they both like have these type of powers in a way. Lex is really sensitive to everything. Like, she can hear really good, even if they're whispering and far away. All her senses are really good. Like her eyesight, she can see in the dark. All her senses are really good. While Livia, she can sense how people are feeling. Like if you're feeling angry towards her, she could feel that, or depending on however that person feels, like she can sense feelings, and she could kind of read minds. I like this book in a way. It has more bad things than good things. It's hard to get into this book, and you really have to like push yourself through this book. I personally don't recommend this book if you don't like slow reads, because it will put you in a book slump. It almost put me in a book slump. But I did enjoy some parts. I'm not telling you that this whole book is bad and terrible, because personally it is not, but everybody's held to their own opinion. So almost halfway through this book there was no action. The action started like literally like 100 in the last 150 pages, around there. That's when the action really started, and it actually kind of grabbed your attention. But it felt like it would grab your attention, and then doom, it would be boring for like 3-4 chapters, and then it would grab your attention a little bit, and then doom, it would be boring again. It was not that interesting. Another thing that made me really mad about this book was that you never knew what age the girls were. They kept going back into the past and then in the present, and like they never specifically said like what age the girls were. Like there was times where the girls were like 5 years old and they were talking, and they felt like they were like 18 years old. And the girls could talk at like 2 years old, and I was just like perfect sentences and all this stuff, and I was just like, that's very confusing. I don't know. The age really got me mad because I was so confused throughout the book, and it never really explained what age the girls were. One thing about this book that I hated terribly was how the world and the information that they gave you about the world and about the characters and about everything about this book was not explained good. Like they just threw out information, and they never explained like what this was and what it did, or how this person was. They never described how the person looked. They never described how Lex or Livia looked, and those were the two main characters. I just knew that they both were tall girls, but other than that, that's all I knew about them, that they were tall. So I had to like picture my own imagination of the girls. This book had a good concept. It was going somewhere good. It needed more explanation and more details and more grasping, more interesting things. It was lacking a lot of that. But if they really tried and they put more effort into this book, it would have been a great book. I had no connection with none of the main characters, not Lex or Livia, and I had a connection with Kane, which was the best friend of Lex, and Kane was like the only character I had a connection with, actually. And that's surprising because I usually have a connection with the main characters. On some parts of this book, I would have liked it if it would have been a movie. I think they would have been great. So, because I would like to see how they would make that part into a movie. Some parts were good and I was like, oh, I would imagine it to a movie. It would look really nice. So that's a good thing, you know, that those parts made me feel that way. But no, I would not like this book to become a movie. I just would like some parts of it to become a movie. This book was somewhat funny. There's this part right here that I have a tab on, and I thought it was funny because they have this thing called boosters, and it says boosters have all kinds of medical and technical uses, but the bright pink ones made us laugh for hours about the stupidest things. So I thought that was funny because it was like sort of like saying like they were kind of high. So I thought it was so hilarious when I started reading it. I don't know, I started bursting into laughter. So there was funny parts in this book. Another great thing about this book was that you could really tell who was talking from Lex and Livia. Like you could really tell from them, both of them, who was talking, and that's a really good thing for the writers. My least favorite out of Lex and Livia, I didn't have a connection with either. But I did prefer Livia over Lex because Lex just seemed to me like she always thought that she was like Miss Badass and like that nothing could hurt her and that she was like number one. Like I don't know, it just Lex, her character just did not. I had no connection with Lex whatsoever. Livia, at points I kind of did understand her and have a connection with her, but at points she seemed so bratty. Oh. A main thing I did not like about this book is that they had so much things like Divergent. So many things. For example, I tally marked this right here. They have stimulations just like Divergent, where they put like a clip instead of like a syringe. They put like a chip, and they go into these stimulations. They like get to like fight with people and like bring back memories, all these things just like Divergent. And I was like kind of like, what? No, that's just a Divergent thing, take that out of your book. So I kind of got mad in that, and it got me like, why are you putting Divergent stuff in this book? But I mean, I don't know if they really intended to do that on purpose, or I don't know, but that kind of got me mad. And here I put another Divergent thing, where they blame genetics. Like in Allegiant they had the pure genetics and all that stuff. Here they have the good genetics and the flawed genetics. So I was like, no bueno. On page 149, before this chapter ended, which is the end of chapter 11, it did leave me in a cliffhanger. It left me wanting more. So that's like a good thing about this book, because it had to do with Kane, and I had a connection with Kane, and it had to do with like if Kane died or if he survived or what was going on with Kane, and I wanted to know. So it left me in a cliffhanger, and that was a good thing. In this part I put a little post-it note because one of the characters, he was a gardener and he helped Livia and Lex, and he seemed really cute how they described him. Out of all the characters, they described the gardener. But anyways, his description, he seemed very attractive, and they killed him. I was like, what? Yeah, I put a little sad face as the gardener died. And I don't know if this book is like copying other books, but right here, there's this, Kane is talking, and Livia is helping him like clean his wounds, and it's the exact same words like City of Bones, like what Jay said to Clary. Kane said it to Livia. He's like, if you wanted to see me with my clothes off, all you had to do was ask. So I was like, that's what Jay said in City of Bones. So yeah, I was like a little like thrown back with them. Like first Divergent, now City of Bones. Like, what's next? Lex is the one talking in this chapter, and on page 248, there's a typo. It says too late, says Lex, but Lex is the one saying the story, and I thought that was funny because it was supposed to say I said instead of Lex said. So yeah, I want to talk about the love triangle now. There was a love triangle between Kane, Livia, and Lex, and it never said who Kane picked or who stayed with Kane. So I don't know if they're thinking of making a sequel to this. I hope not, because this book does not deserve a sequel. It does not. It would have been perfect if they would just have said who Kane picked. The book would have been fine, you know. The ending sucked. It sucked. The ending was the worst out of the whole book. It just said that they were gonna escape outside of the city, just like Divergent when they were escaping from the city. That's what they were gonna do. So many Divergent copies here. The last thing that I have to say about this book was that it at one point in the book, like a chapter I think it was, I felt like this book was gonna be 4 stars because it was getting so good. The action was coming after action after action, and it was like I was kind of connecting with the characters, but then it died. I found this book to be at 2.5 stars, almost 3 stars, so it's not that bad. Like people say, like they give it like 0 stars or 1 star. They're like, oh no, it was terrible, like they don't know how to write it. No, I enjoyed it. There were funny points, there were good points, but more bad things than good things. They did not know how to describe this book and describe it to the character, the world, the characters. There was no connections, and that was disappointing. And this book is so hard to get into and so hard to finish. It took me over a month, I'm guessing, to finish this book, and that's sad, because it usually takes me a day or 2 to finish a book, and that explains a lot of this book. That is my review for Rebels, City of Indra. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm not telling you guys to not give this book a chance. Give it a chance. Who knows? You might end up liking it. This is only my opinion and what I think and how I felt the book. I have no hate towards Kendall and Kylie Jenner. I love Kylie Jenner. I'm not a fan of Kendall, but everybody holds their own opinion. This has nothing to do with them writing the book. I am giving my honest opinion over this book. I read it, and that's what I wanted to do, to read it and give my honest opinion over this book, because a lot of people are saying it's terrible and everything, and I don't find it terrible. I just don't find it good either. And yeah, this book overall is a 2.5 on my chart. So yeah, guys, that is all for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys liked my opinion over this. I'm not saying to not check it out. Check it out if you want to, but I don't recommend it. Personally, my personal opinion, if you guys would ask me, like, do you recommend it to me? No, I don't. But it's your money and your option, so go buy it at your own risk. That's all pretty much I can say about this book. So yeah, that is it, guys. Until Friday, keep buzzing into books. Bye, guys.